Guys, we need to talk. I recommend you stay for the whole video because there has been a bit of controversy with Bungie's, release schedule of content since the launch Season of the Deep. Me personally, I like Season of the Deep, but I came to realize some, feedback with the recent season and some of the previous promises Bungie has gave us in the previous past years that is not coming to pass. And with the recent monetization, being a bit more money, having more silver needed to be required to buy the said season pass, it comes down to we're getting less content but paying more money. So there has been a lot of controversy about that. Now, I don't really post too many of these backlash videos constantly as I used to with Lightfall, and I think it's for good reason. I don't always want to be the hater, but when it comes once, in a lifetime or once a season or something like that, I think that's a good equal amount when it comes to this. So in this video, we're going to talk about, more of a lot of controversy with the season and how this might be or need to be a thing where Bungie has to go in and start changing a bit of things when it comes to releasing seasons, and of course with the last expansion for the Light and Dark Saga being the final shape. If you guys do enjoy this video, I recommend you guys subscribe. It would help me out tremendously. We're trying to get to 30K. Only 5% of you guys who watch my videos subscribe, so it would mean a lot. But let's get right into it. So, of course, I've been seeing a lot of, Steam reviews with the recent season. Saw a lot of tweets on Twitter, a lot of stuff on Reddit. And this Reddit post came to, like a bit of realization because I wasn't realizing, the full, promises that Bungie had given us a couple, years ago. Of course, we had Luke Smith be the game director, and then we are now with Joe Blackburn. So some of those changes, of course, might have happened, but there was things that, people are really curious and wondering about, as it looks like the expectations for established content by Bungie isn't coming to the expectations they are seeing. And there's also a result of an increase in monetization, and it makes people think, are we getting less content, or are we getting more missing content that we should be getting for the content we pay? Think about it, guys. Now we're buying a whole expansion that we're expecting a whole, at least a great story that many of us probably didn't find to our expectations. We're seeing, a huge dungeon key with also seasons, plus the extra amount of seasons that we're buying, because we're buying a total of 4, and we're putting expectations out there for those seasons to be really good. So paying for them is going to be, of course, it's going to be a sign that, if the community doesn't like them, there's going to be controversy. Now, with this, I wanted to go into this Reddit post by Shadowblade on the Destiny the game Reddit, because I feel like it's a very important Reddit post that I wanted to look on, and I didn't want to, of course, not put any credit to it. So thank you for whoever did this. And this is, of course, to create discussion in the comments. So please don't go too crazy and write, all those very explicit, angry things. We're trying to, of course, create a discussion and start thinking of what Bungie should really do coming into year 6, year 7. So to start off, he says that with the existence of monetization in the Eververse, the community wants to support the game's growth and hard workers behind it that, of course, pour their hours of hard work into it. Of course, that is completely fine. We understand that, and that is definitely something we should realize going into this discussion. But there's also some things that when the money goes in that we're paying, and some parts of the main game, not really seasons, but usually those, consistent promised updated content like playlist activity armor, stuff like that, when that doesn't come fulfilled, it really comes down to being, well, this is the base game. This is content that should be updated with a live service game. Destiny is one of those games, so you're expecting updates to the live service majority of the game, obviously. So, for example, the former game director Luke Smith said we'll be getting both a new playlist armor set and a new trials armor set every year, but this is the first year we've gotten neither during the expansion drop or the season after. Has these plans changed, or is it just delayed? If delayed, when can we expect it going forward? There really needs to be some kind of like road to final shape, sort of TWAB or something. Usually they post it in the second season, and we could probably not see it until maybe December or November if Bungie plans to delay it that long. But I really need some like distinguished TWAB to tell us what's going on behind the scenes when it comes to those little things, because that can build up a lot, and then it can really show that we're paying a lot of stuff for things we are not getting, which we were promised earlier. The current game director, Joe Blackburn, said long ago that Gambit had some major changes in the oven, being tested alongside Crucible, getting a more consistent rollout of new maps and modes, hopefully at Lightfall and every expansion beyond, and yet nothing was said about Gambit in Blackburn's previous state of the game. And while Crucible has been doing great with the sandbox and making innovations, it is yet to meet the bar that Blackburn set out to establish. So with Crucible and Gambit, it's looking a bit bad. And especially for Gambit, with no entire update or no rollout of any news or changes in the, wrote the state of the game a while ago, it created a lot of concern, and many are just saying that they're just going to not really put a lot of attention into it, and they're just going to put it in the game because they, of course, have it in the game, and they don't feel like getting rid of it would be the best because it could affect the seasonal grind. I don't know, really. Again, I'm not a game director. I don't know, so don't, again, take my words for consideration absolute. But there's some things like that that we need to really evaluate. Gambit is in a bad state right now. That's just how it is. If you love Gambit, I'm happy for you. But the realistic feedback that I've seen and how it has really been, in the game for such a long time without any meaningful changes is really concerning to me, and it's really concerning to probably many. So there have been videos out there. How do we improve upon that? How do we add new things? And that's something we need to, of course, take with consideration. Now, regarding the strike playlist, this is another thing that has come up. We, of course, talked about leaks, and when it comes to the strike playlist, I won't put any in here if you don't want to, of course, listen to those. But there has been, of course, rumors going around that there's going to be a new playlist or something eventually. I don't know. And one of the things with the strike playlist is that Bungie has been keeping Battleground missions vitalized in the playlist, but they've also been rolling out new strikes in expansions, obviously. In Witch Queen, we rolled out 2 new strikes at launch. In Beyond Light, we got Glassway at launch, Proving Grounds in Season 13, and 3 reprised D1 strikes. So in Year 4, it was a great time for strikes. We got new, we got old, it was amazing, it was great, and I think it was an awesome time in the first 2 seasons of Year 4. In Lightfall, we only got 1 new strike in Neomuna, and a lot of people are concerned with the expectations Bungie should give us out prior to the expansion's reveal, or in, a TWAB or something, prior to the launch of the showcase for that said expansion on what we can expect out of it. I am not a whole fan of, going into an expansion knowing that I'm going to get 2 strikes or I'm going to get 1 strike. I was hyping Lightfall up, and I believe probably many of us were, and I thought we were going to get 3, 2, maybe even 4. I know that's above expectations, and you shouldn't do that, and I get that, put your expectations, at an all-time, not an all-time low, but you got to keep it realistic. But with the expansion of Witch Queen being so well, I was thinking 2. I was devastated to only see 1 on the screen. And when the new, Vex Network public event came on the screen, maybe that will be really good. And then I played it, and I wasn't really a huge fan of it. So it kind of came down to those, expectations that us players put on the game, put on how we realize that, maybe it's going to be all good. Maybe we're going to get the same thing we got from the last year. We kind of set our expectations to the prior expansion, which, again, we should do that when it comes down if the expansion is received well. And that comes down to being, again, a huge disappointment. If the Witch Queen done well, you would expect that Lightfall and Final Shape be done even better, and to see that reception go down, a huge decline from the recent expansion, it's bad. It's not good, and that's something I hate when it comes to the playlist activities, which are something we always do every season. There's not like huge changes to every single season with these, so you're expecting at least some new content from them if you're going to play them through the majority of those 3 months. So to see nothing, it, again, really sucks. And again, we always have to take in consideration from the other side, people working, people have jobs, people can't put content all over this game 24/7, and that's something we have to understand. Destiny's a huge game, but there's also a studio out there who, of course, can start, changing some things, and I feel that's very important. We should be getting changes for those playlist activist armor. We should get evaluating, TWABs on telling Bungie, okay, this is the expectations we're going to get for a set expansion, a set season. We really should get that. I know there was this TWAB or something from maybe an assistant game director or something about how a while ago saying that with a live service game like Destiny, we have to not work too hard for a season because then we make people think that those are the expectations that we, of course, can't meet. Then that kind of really hurt a lot of people's opinion, thoughts on Bungie, because they really should go all out on all these seasons, and to not, put so much into a season compared to another season, it comes down to what are our expectations, and that's something that I feel like I should bring to you guys' attention. So again, it was something that was on my mind, and it's really important that we should find out, ultimately what the devs should tell us, what updates should we expect, what the transparency from Bungie are we going to need, and stuff like that. We need to know the truth. We need to know the exciting parts of the game, but we also need to know that realistic, middle line, middle lane, middle rock, whatever you want to call it. But again, hopefully you guys liked this video. If you guys did, be sure to subscribe and like, and let me know your thoughts on the release of Season of the Deep and the expectations that has been out there from Bungie recently, and what your thoughts are on this issue. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.